So, here we go.
It was filled with childish frustrations and complexes. The police were searching for James Thomas.
Hello, hello, hello. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang. It is currently 9:40 p.m. Night Movie Gang. My name is Elsie Hines. I'm here with my buddy Joseph.
What's up?
And yeah, for those of you, if this is your first episode, tune in, which it could be. These are pretty, I'd say a lot of people have nostalgia for this one as far as like, you know, people know these movies, but maybe not everyone has seen them. Everyone has at least heard of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, that was me.
You've at least heard of Friday the 13th. But yeah, this is a show where we typically talk about kind of horror, sci-fi, lesser known, lowbrow, late night cinema, late night movies, so to speak. Martial arts, other less respected
Fun movies.
genres. Not the Oscars.
Yeah.
Fuck the Oscars.
Oscar's done that shit.
But yeah, no, tonight we're talking about so the three movies we watched in prep for this in particular were a few nights ago we watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th chapter 4, which is also called the final chapter.
Yep.
And we watched that one,
Which is a lie.
in my opinion, that is as far as I've seen most of all of these movies, but I definitely have some gaps. Like I've seen up to Friday the 13th 6, and that doesn't include Freddy vs. Jason. So technically 7 movies with Jason.
Yeah.
And then I've seen all the Freddy movies.
Damn. There's so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
These things are so like they're lowbrow in presentation and these movies don't have any pretense at all. Like they're full on like you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
This is a fun, stupid time at the movies.
Yeah.
And there's also no pride to like not just cranking out sequel after sequel because it's just a fucking slasher movie.
Oh yeah, no,
There's
absolutely.
no artistic merit.
No, absolutely.
These are products.
Yeah, no, these are built for dumb teens to get fucked up and go.
I think that's a valuable thing to have in a society.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Back when we had like places kids could gather.
Exactly. I mean, these movies are just they're not really built to take seriously. There are definitely themes present, and there is like things that there are themes and topics that the creators of these usually it's kind of built into the core of the characters rather than like the actual movies taking time to explore them.
Yeah.
But like there are some themes to be explored. There are like a few, like just in terms of like horror as a genre, just because horror has just always been so cheap to mass produce. Like every single one of these movies I was looking at the budgets, all of them are like less than $5 million pretty much, except maybe for
these movies are just business decisions.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's we watched that, and then tonight we just finished watching Freddy vs. Jason.
Yep.
Kind of the meeting point to these two, and kind of what can be considered the end of like the original run era, as far as like from this movie to like the first movies in each of these franchises, they were coming out relatively consistently, like within a few years of each other. And then after this, we're kind of in that late 2000s kind of gap.
Yeah.
Where we no longer have the slasher. It's more your Final Destinations.
Yeah.
Saws.
That's interesting.
Like more like movies focusing on exorcism, or like more like later
they're trying to feel because they're trying to that was like the take ourselves really seriously era. So
exactly, the horror was like
like slashers were too cheesy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it probably has to do with like a lot of the threats that we were kind of facing in movies were more existential than like a dude coming after you.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it you can say a good amount of it is like post 9/11, because this Freddy vs. Jason came out in 2003.
9/11 ruined everything in this country, by the way.
I'm sure that pre-production on this movie started like before then, or like without like that in consideration. Like they've probably been talking about doing Freddy vs. Jason for years. But before we get into that, I kind of want to just talk about the first two movies a bit. We're not going to go through the plots of each of the first two movies we watched, but our history with these characters and slashers as well. Joseph, tell me your history with Freddy and Jason, each, like what you knew about them.
I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street like 5-6 years ago. one time, and I never saw a single
Other one.
Friday the 13th movie or Nightmare on Elm Street movie. That's my history. Both of them. Most of my history with these movies is comprised of this apartment.
Yeah.
I guess they're fun. I probably wouldn't have liked them a couple years ago, but now that, like, I don't know, I can see the joy in them.
Yeah, like see like what people like about them.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I can also see like serious criticisms. There's like these movies are not great.
Yeah, no, they're
Elm Street was pretty good.
Yeah,
but like the more of a product it is, the worse the writing and the characters are, and the more boring padding there is.
Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason is a toy commercial.
Yeah,
or more like a Mortal Kombat commercial. Like it's like Freddy vs. Jason is probably the best Mortal Kombat movie.
Freddy vs. Jason occupies the same aesthetic space in my brain as Alien vs. Predator. To me, they are like interchangeable.
Yeah,
like a lot of scenes in those movies just look like they belong in each other's movies.
Yeah. Do you think? I would personally. Now you know how much I love Alien.
Yeah.
As far as putting Freddy vs. Jason against that first Alien vs. Predator, I give Freddy vs. Jason a lead just because it's rated R.
Yeah.
And it does use it's rated R.
Yeah, it does.
Whereas like if that first Alien vs. Predator was rated R,
that is the biggest flaw in that movie.
Yeah, 100%.
That it's PG-13.
100%.
It's a horrible decision.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Funnily enough, so like talking about my personal history with like slashers in general, growing up, the two main like slasher franchises that I grew up on and like my mom liked and like I watched was Scream was what my mom introduced me to. And we are gonna do the Scream movie someday.
Never seen it.
They are great. In fact, Scream itself kind of exists as a that original Scream even exists as a commentary on like all of these slashers and kind of like breaks them down.
It's
and
also Wes Craven, isn't it?
Also Wes Craven, who created
cool.
Freddy, which
that's fun.
It makes sense that like Wes Craven, his movies and like his characters and like his ideas have kind of like stood the test of time, and that like because he was always trying to do something different. Like Freddy was a major deviation. Or Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's a weird idea.
Because before then it was really like 1984. Before then, your big Michael Myers was king.
Yeah,
and you had Jason running around, and then you had like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
movies, and then
but this is like a weird like a ghost.
Yeah,
like a ghost slasher.
Yeah, he's like a spirit.
Weird. It's a cool idea.
Yeah,
it's a little higher brow.
Well, I think it's a thing where it's like
surreal.
Yeah, Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street was very much a direct reaction to Stranger Danger.
Yeah,
and really worrying about like kids being abducted or absorbed into satanic thing. Like the later Freddy movies kind of dip more into the whole satanic panic thing, in that like the later movies might like some of the later movies in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise are kind of more like Freddy's more possessing people, he's more influencing the kids.
Yeah, and
it's a lot more about like him having control versus just straight up killing them necessarily.
They seem a little bit smarter than like these other slasher movies.
Yeah,
like they're a little higher quality, like in terms of like concept to me anyway.
Yeah, they're a little elevated.
Yeah, they're like it's weird because it's like super surreal. And it's interesting.
Yeah, so something that we were talking about while we were watching the movie, and something that like I kind of wrap my head around is that I would love to see like what would. Because we're in an interesting place with horror right now.
Yeah.
Whereas like the kind of horror that is dominating right now is like the serious A24 style horror. And it doesn't even necessarily, when I say serious, I mean like there have been modern horror movies that come out right now that have a comedic edge to them, but it's still modern horror movies I feel like are just more grounded overall.
Yeah. Well,
even if they have humor in them.
I think modern horror is trying to attract an older audience than horror in the early 2000s did. And the 80s. Like, I think they're like, now horror is Kino.
Yeah.
Like, A24 has changed what people think about horror and like what the industry thinks of horror.
Yeah.
Now they're getting like better directors, and better directors are interested in horror.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's interesting you say that because, the modern horror movies that are coming out now are more kind of appealing to like the young millennial kind of like elder Gen Z, like like was a film bro in high school crowd.
Yeah.
Whereas like the teens now that right now aren't watching movies.
No, not really.
Like
no,
high schoolers aren't going to the movies.
exactly.
Like, right now.
We don't really advertise like aside
No.
from that's crazy because they used to be the most valuable demographic.
Yeah, and now they're very much not. Now it's like all the
Because
post.
they don't have any money.
Yeah, the post college kids who don't have kids are spending all their money doing things like going to the movies.
Yeah.
Or actually, I guess in general, I've read all sorts of things saying people around our age are spending money on experiences and not saving or having kids.
Yeah.
Which I mean I think
That makes a lot of sense, man.
it makes a whole lot of sense. And it makes sense that like horror is in. I think horror is in a really interesting place right now, and it's kind of cool to see like we kind of like watched like the beginning of kind of the golden era of like them being box office king.
Yes.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street and like those 80s early 90s movies all just made bank, and then Freddy vs. Jason was like the cutoff.
Yeah.
You
The shark has officially jumped at that point.
100%. But yeah,
That movie really brings Freddy's mystique down.
which one, Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It brings it down to the level of a dumb slasher movie.
100%. Yeah, no.
I do love a Versus movie though.
Yeah, no, and it had all the fun of it. Which we'll get more.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
To that one more. But talking about the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, yeah, Freddy definitely is treated with more. It's the most serious movie of the three that we watched. It's got the.
It's almost a real film.
I mean, it's got characters that have the most defined arcs. So basically, so for those people who don't know, who haven't heard Nightmare on Elm Street, basically it's about a killer, this guy Freddy Krueger, who his body is burnt. He has a really weird costumed outfit.
He's a ghost. Like
he's a ghost demon.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept for like a single movie, I think.
Yeah,
like because he's honestly not much of a character in this movie.
In the original,
he's kind of like people talk about him a lot, but like when he shows up, he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, and that's like all he said. He's basically just a plot device.
Yeah, he's a plot device.
Like the real horror is just trying to stay awake and being afraid of falling asleep. Like that's like to me the core.
Yeah.
And no one believing you when you try to explain something because it's too ridiculous. Like that's a scary situation to be in too.
It's kind of tapped into the whole where our youth is being like killed by this dark influence, this satanic presence.
Yes.
But yeah, basically Freddy,
like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp, who was I believe this is
he has the coolest death in any of these movies. I gotta say, he's got my favorite.
His death is pretty sick. There's a lot of good in this first Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a lot of like good. If most of them, if not all of them, are like cheesy and are more goofy, but some of them are like really skeeve me out. Like
Freddy Krueger is like fucking Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
I'm not the first one to make that connection.
I'm pretty sure the first time you fully see him in this movie is the noodle arm scene.
Yeah,
where
what is that? It doesn't correlate to anything. He just got big long arms.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be like a real nightmare somebody had.
Yeah, like the first nightmare sequence, he's got these big long like styrofoam noodle arms. And
it looks cool. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun image, but it is really goofy to look at. But like I don't know, there's some great shots. Like I love the bathroom shot, which he's in the tub.
Yeah.
And his hand comes up out of the water.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
There's a lot of he's kind of also keyed into like it's more insinuated in this one. They go deeper into it in the later ones. I mean, Freddy versus Jason. Freddy's like hitting on half the people he's trying to kill. But like he is like a child molester in the first one, or like it's heavily insinuated, and like there's this violation aspect too, like the sexual violation aspect that is also wrapped up to the character.
Stranger danger. Being
a sexual predator is wrapped in there too. They try to talk about that. But yeah, basically Freddy is showing up in the minds of these teens.
I don't really find Freddy that scary. Is that like normal?
What do you mean?
Do a lot of people not find Freddy very scary?
I think he's more on the goofy side.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not really scared necessarily of like any slasher.
I think Michael Myers is kind of creepy, and like the It Follows demon thing is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the most part, you're just waiting for the slasher scenes to go. "Ugh, ugh."
Yeah, pretty much. It is more about the effects and the set pieces, and I do think that Nightmare on Elm Street has the benefit of like being able to use dream logic
Yeah,
and being able to like and
I think that might kill it for me.
What do you mean?
Just like random cartoon shit happening. It doesn't. I don't know. It's not scary to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I know. For me, it's like the most enjoyment I get is like I think just some of the cool dream concepts. Like I love the part where one of the girls is running away and she's running up the stairs, but the stairs like collapse into goo.
Yeah, that's a good
whatever.
scene. Yeah, it looks like Marshmallow.
Exactly, like as she's running up, and then like you said, Johnny Depp's kill is just like such a cool.
Yeah. Oh my god.
VFX show. They use that rotating room.
Yeah, Johnny Depp dies by sinking into his bed while he's sleeping, and then this just absolute geyser of blood shoots up out of the bed and sticks on the ceiling because they actually filmed the room upside down.
Yeah, and they had everything tied down like
that,
and it's
it looks fucking sick.
It
it's
looks
like,
incredible.
It's like the hallway scene from The Shining. Like it's,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's filmed in a high frame rate as well, so that like
it's in super slow mo.
It's in slow mo, like, and it really does. Yeah, just look like
this huge just pillar of blood. It's such a cool concept.
Yeah, there are a fair amount of like really good VFX. Like there's a shot where I don't think it's Johnny Depp, but somebody else gets sucked into a bed, but it's like they're sucked into like a hell hole
There's
of
her
like
mom.
smoke. Her mom, yeah. And then
the smoke forms back into the bed, and it's very seamless.
It's very seamless. A lot of it too is that like it's very gray smoke colored sheets.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it's a nice transition. But I don't know. Then there are some cheesier moments that I still enjoy. As far as I love the tongue phone.
Yeah,
which I'm saying right now, the tongue phone's my prop from the first one. A great little. I remember that actually the first time I saw this movie really skeeving me out as because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, no, I think you know what's interesting. I think that one of the reasons I liked Freddy Krueger so much as a little kid was because I wasn't that scared of him. Because I thought he looked silly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see how that would like I'm not scared of this one.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I was definitely like Michael Myers was creepier.
Yeah.
Alien was very scary to me, but the difference there is like Freddy I was into because like, oh, I don't have to be scared of him. I can just laugh at him.
Yeah.
Alien was like, I'm interested because this freaks me out on a deep level.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the first one, I don't know necessarily how much we want to say about the first one beyond like I do want to say I think Nancy is a good final girl.
She's a great protagonist.
Yeah,
usually that's another reason I think this movie is actually good is because I actually like the main character, which has never ever happened for me in a movie like this.
On any of these movies. Yeah, no,
I think it's an actually good movie, like not just like a good horror slasher thing, but it's a good movie.
Yeah, no, Nancy, she doesn't like when Freddy starts killing her friends. Like her immediate response is like, "No, I'm gonna get this motherfucker."
Yeah,
like I think at one.
Yeah, she fights back the whole time. It's great.
I think at one point she's trying to get her boyfriend Johnny Depp, who's just like the most teen.
Yeah, his hair is huge.
His hair is gigantic. He just like sits in his room and listens to music on his giant headphones. There's a lot of great 80s tech in this movie, just as far as like I remember thinking like, man, what if I was a teen in the 80s?
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
And then that conversation got real sad real fast about why it would be so much better to be a teen in the 80s.
Yeah. They still got Reagan and AIDS.
Yeah.
No, she tells Johnny Depp, you know, like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pull him out and you deck the fucker.
Yeah, that's when you're gonna deck the fucker.
And you know, definitely later she comes back later in the series too. Is like I said, she comes back as like a dream psychologist. Like she's dedicated her life to trying to fight Freddy type deal. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if I need to see any of these sequels to be honest.
I mean, yeah, based on like I don't think it's really. They are all a gradual incline to Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, these movies.
Everyone gets a little more
There's
stupid.
so many of these franchises where the first one is good and then they just keep making them and every sequel is trash.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, well, it's because like, yeah, I think it's that like with any of these, not even just
or
these
they'll make like
slashers,
one or two. Alien is one of those.
Yeah.
Predator. We've talked about this.
Alien, Predator, Terminator,
Yeah.
like all of these great, yeah, like you said, like
character slashers.
character slashers where like there is an icon, whether or not it's one guy or like
Yeah.
a species or whatever.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's just this piece of iconography. Like usually the first time is the most distilled.
Yeah.
Like Alien's a great example.
That's
as
the
far as,
thing. Yeah, I think the sequels are obligatory. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing about the concept that demands another one of these. Like we've already explored the whole concept in the first movie.
I think that, you know, what I think franchise films need to do to like, for at least for not to do, but like what I would like to see them do, like what I want to see more of is stuff like what we got going on in the background, which but with folks at home.
It's not the first time.
Yeah, we got the projector going right now for ambience. We got In a Violent Nature playing, which In a Violent Nature is kind of what made me go down the rabbit hole of watching all the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And because it made me want to like kind of see them from it made me see the character of Jason and all these silent slashers in a very different way.
Yeah.
Thinking of them more as like, oh no, they're just like people who need healthcare.
Yep.
Or who need mental health care.
Yeah, they're just mentally ill people.
Yeah. But no, by that I mean as far as like and even we mentioned it while we were watching this movie, like seeing like modern artsy horror take on these IPs. You know, or like taking them in very different. I think that what's it called? I think Prey is another example of one that does it pretty good in that, like, you know,
Yeah.
it takes
Prey's great.
it takes the kind of bare bone distilled elements of what makes Predator, but presents it in such a different way.
You
know?
Yeah, I like that. It's just I think the problem is slasher movies are so narrow. Like they have to be so formulaic, or else they're in a completely different genre. Like they just have to be kill after kill after kill. Like that's the whole point of a slasher. So there's really only so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
And I think the early 2000s, or like the 80s through the early 2000s, thoroughly explored the genre. I don't know what else we can do with it, you know?
is the potential.
In a Violent Nature is the furthest deviation we have, and it's honestly just a Friday the 13th movie.
It is just a Friday the 13th movie, but the camera's in a weird spot.
Yeah, exactly. It's just from a different angle.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, no, I would like to see more interesting things done with slasher. Like Alien's a good example of like taking like, and that was before a lot of that shit. But Alien's a good example of a different direction for a slasher movie.
Yeah, right at the start, because Ridley Scott did say that one of his main inspirations, he said like he described the movie as Texas Chainsaw Massacre in space.
Yeah.
Which it only came out, I want to say, like 4 or 5 years after Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
How about him?
Like, I like that kind of deviation where it's not just like taking an established formula and then trying to modify that, but like wanting to make your own movie and it kind of becomes a slasher like naturally. I think that's ideal.
Putting it in a different location. Folks at home, we have Blossom. I posted a picture of Blossom on our social media.
Yeah,
and it didn't get a whole lot of hits. So Blossom, will you tell people what you thought in the movie?
Did you love it? She put her forehead on the microphone out of rage. Out of shame. She hated it.
But yeah, no, I mean, as far as like, at the end of the day, I don't know. I want to see people do interesting things.
Yeah.
I want
exactly.
See
I don't. When I say I want slasher movies back, I don't want the same slasher movies.
Yeah.
I like the concept of playing around with it more.
Yeah, I like
more risks.
I think the way that you could, like we said, the coolest way would be someone like an Ari Aster or like a even like a Jordan Peele could take it in an interesting way, as far as like taking these taking these IPs and doing something interesting with it would be good.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th Part 4. Let's talk about
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th Part 4.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Sorry, folks, we're tired, and that's all now. But what's it called? Yeah, we watched Friday the 13th Part 4. You know, in my memory, there was a lot more just Jason killing people in this movie.
Well,
like
this is my first Friday the 13th movie. I can't say it either. Holy shit.
Friday the
And yeah, there's a lot of filler in this movie.
Yeah, no, I forgot.
A lot of time spent messing around with the fucking weird love triangle of these teenagers who want to fuck each other. Like, I give a shit about how horny Crispin Glover is.
Yeah. I think that this movie...
It's a lot of the runtime.
Yeah. I think this movie has a pretty strong, like, first 15-ish minutes where, like, I like, you know, they give you the... All of these movies start with like a quick recap of what you need to know. Here are the rules. Here's some
of the cool kills from the last movie.
Cool kills from the last movie.
Yeah.
Jason is seemingly dead, and his body is being recovered by the paramedics.
Yep.
He's taken to the morgue, and the whole time, like, people are having like the first time they're trying to get the body. There's like a one of the paramedics. She's like she's scared, and Jason's arm kind of falls out, and she's like, you know, and everyone's like, oh, don't worry, he's dead. Well, of course he's dead.
So explain the what? How does Jason just keep fucking coming back? Is that ever explained?
It's
and if it is explained, what's the point of having a slasher villain that just doesn't die?
So to be clear, as far as like
has no consequences.
I'm just gonna spoil the later movies.
Functionally immortal.
From Friday the 13th Part 1 through Part 4, which we watched. So this is Jason's first life.
Okay.
Like he is a flesh and blood man who is in fact just hard to kill. 1 through 4.
Wasn't he a little boy who died?
So from what you can gather from the first two, so the first Friday the 13th, Jason's mom is actually the killer running around in that movie.
And then the twist at the end is, he's actually alive.
He is actually alive, and Jason's just been, like, living out in the woods.
So he's just like a weird ogre who lives in the woods?
He's a weird woodman man who just, like, lives out in the woods. People thought that he drowned, and...
Why? Why does he live in the woods? Why isn't he with his mom?
Well...
If he loves her so much...
Jason's mom gets killed at the end of Friday the 13th 1.
Uh-huh.
And basically, like, he kind of... That's why he starts, like, going around killing people, because he's getting revenge for his mom being killed in the first one. And his mom is going around killing teens in the first one because they didn't protect my Jason. They let him drown.
Okay.
Type deal.
Okay.
So 1 through 4, Jason, it's his first life. He gets killed at the end of this movie. Spoiler alert.
He gets killed at the end of the last movie.
He falls off the
He
fucking
got
roof.
hit in the fucking head with a machete. He had a machete in his head when they met.
He did have a big old machete chunk.
And he was announced dead.
Yeah.
The man was dead.
He's just really hard to
And then
kill.
he just gets up again, and how?
They got it wrong this one.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
So we need to be back.
But Jason is 100% definitively dead at 4 the first time he dies. Now, here's Friday the 13th 5. It's a fake Jason. It's not Jason.
Okay.
It is literally like, and there's a reason for it, doesn't matter, but it is a different dude who's running around the Jason. Yeah, no, people don't like Part 5.
That's lame as hell.
Part of that reason's part of it. Friday the 13th Part 6 starts with Tommy, Jarvis, who at the end of Friday the 13th, he was... I'm forgetting his name. Corey Feldman's character.
Oh, yeah.
Who is now played by like an older actor, because it's 2 movies later, by some actor who did not go on to become Corey Feldman.
No.
It starts with
probably for the best.
It starts with Tommy, who is like become obsessed with Jason at this point, digging up Jason's grave because he's not convinced that Jason is actually dead. So he's digging up Jason's grave to like, well, we're gonna kill him once and for all, like finish him once and for all, just to make sure that he's dead. The opening of Friday the 13th Part 6, which, spoiler alert for that movie too, Tommy and his dumbass friend dig Jason up. His grave turns out that he is actually dead. But...
And then he gets struck by lightning.
By lightning.
These movies have never claimed to be smart.
And he comes back to life. And from Part 6 on... That lightning strike makes he just comes back to life every time. Like, that's from that point on, the lightning is what gave Jason his full
I love
unkillable.
how little thought that they put into it.
He's super.
They're like, it doesn't fucking matter.
He is Super Jason from that point on.
He's big and strong. I mean, he's Super Jason in fucking this one.
He's a big yoked dude.
So yeah, well, so in 4 he's like a big strong guy, you'd meet in real life. Like he like lifts.
Yeah, no, he's
But in fucking Freddy vs. Jason, he's the Hulk.
yeah. In Freddy vs. Jason, he is truly superpowered.
What is up with that?
He's Colossus.
I mean, because he was in Hell. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Helmet. Like you, I say
Hell
that
makes
now.
you strong.
Hell makes you strong. Just like Johnny, they go to the same gym.
Yep.
This scene, we're watching in Violent Nature, and Johnny's about to kill the girl in the water, which is straight up a lift from Friday the 13th
That
Part
happened
4.
in both movies.
In both movies, the exact same kill. Just from different perspectives. It would have been so cool if in this scene we're watching Johnny walk under the water, if we saw Johnny under the water.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the budget for that.
It's scarier if you can't see him, though.
It is scarier, but I like the idea of following him underwater.
Like the pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly. With the boat upside down. Yeah.
It's his helmet. He can breathe in his helmet.
Yeah. No, but the first third of this movie is builds up Jason, introduces us to the dumb teens, and introduces us to the so basically, as far as like the closest thing you can call plot
Yeah.
that happens in this movie is that a group of dumb teens is renting like a guest house.
Crispin Glover is here.
Crispin Glover is here. He's a dead fuck.
God, I'm horny.
God.
That's one of the first things that he says.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. Everyone's fucking horny
Crispin,
in all these movies.
This movie is so fucking horny.
Yeah.
All these teens are so horny for each other.
Yeah, no, just like
You
ridiculous.
just don't clip that.
You want me to take that out?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was
Okay.
joking.
Yeah.
You can't get it if you want. But it's
No,
funny.
look good. Yeah, but no, everyone's horny for each other, and Jason doesn't like that. Like actively, like
He's pissed.
It is a part of Jason's thing is that like he hates teens having sex.
Yep.
Like teens having sex and committing
That's
sin,
the ultimate offense to him.
sin and debauchery. He
Yeah.
just hates it. But yeah, so these teens,
into a rage.
these teens are renting a guest house from this family, this mom.
Crispin Glover does the dance. Listen, I'm not recommending. I mean, this movie is fun. You should watch if you like slashers.
Let me see what.
But what you
streaming
really need
service
to
they're
watch
on.
is Crispin Glover dancing on YouTube in this
Yeah,
movie.
look up just Friday.
Because
the 13th,
honestly, that is the best part of the movie.
Crispin Glover dance.
I guess, he just did that, right?
Yeah, like he just did that, and then they just recorded
They
him doing
played
it.
Back in Black, and he danced like that. Just watch. It's fucking great. He
watch.
danced like that to Back in Black, and then they changed the music so it doesn't even match how he's dancing, which is even funnier.
Mm-hmm.
He's just spasming out.
You can
It's
watch.
amazing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be able to watch it on Tubi, but you can't.
You can watch that scene on YouTube, though.
You can watch it on YouTube. Where
It's the best scene in the movie.
Where do you watch all this?
He goes like,
You can rent Friday the 13th Part 4. It's not on any streaming service
of course not.
for free necessarily. Everything, all horror movies should just be on Tubi.
Anytime I go to look up a fucking movie that I want to watch, I 100% of the time have to pay for it because it's not on any of the streaming services.
Yeah. It looks like
100% of the time.
Hey, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, same thing, not rentable. I don't know. I own I have physical media corner time unit. Yeah, I basically the Nightmare on Elm Street. I have like I just have like the Walmart. I don't have they're in the binder. So people at home, a lot of my Blu-ray DVD collection is in these big DVD binders.
Yep.
And all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies I have in the binder. But it was like those Walmart like best of
15 horror movies.
and so yeah, and like they're all in there. And then I have the Friday the 13th box set, also from Walmart, but I have the actual case. And then, but we watch, funnily enough, we didn't even mention, we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one on VHS. Because
Hell yeah.
go to if you live near Columbus, Ohio, go to Needle Exchange Records and Tapes.
Do it.
There's a guy named Ian there, and he has a really cool VHS wall of cool VHSs.
Got cool records, cool tapes.
Cool everything. It's pretty sick. And it definitely, like, I love watching old horror on VHS.
Terminator was a fucking experience, dude.
Yeah, no, Terminator ripped. Also, I will say, and I want to say about this too. We didn't mention it with Nightmare on Elm Street. Fantastic music.
Yeah.
In that one, just
Yeah,
like
really good score.
80s synth horror sounds just get me going, and I do think that VHS does that tape thing to the sound. You know, like it adds that tape warble to
Yep.
the sound that really just makes synth and like artificial instruments like like digital,
Yeah.
noise, like really just kind of sounds
Makes
so
the colors all bloom out and smooth out.
yeah,
Looks
no,
great.
it's it's really cool. Just I highly recommend horror stuff. Like I said, I'll just mention like I'm gonna make tapes of the Terrifier movies soon. 'Cause I need to-
Yeah.
The only reason I'm making, I didn't get to finish. I was telling you earlier, I'm making tapes of the Terrifier movies because the actual all the Terrifier movies do have like official like releases through Walmart, like they did those promotional.
Yeah.
But there was such a limited
Oh
run,
right, yeah.
and they're all super
They got
expensive.
scalped.
They're scalped, and even a lot of there are a lot of DIY tape people who have them too, and but they're all like pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend that much money on Terrifier, but I do really want to experience those on VHS because I think that they're really fucking built for it.
Yeah, they are.
I
I mean, they look like they're shot on like cheap film.
exactly.
Like they have like this sort of fuzz to them already. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I think that there's actually, I was mentioning earlier, there's a YouTuber I follow, people might want to check him out, maybe if he hears this. He's called Last Movie Standing on YouTube. And he's like a physical media YouTuber. He talks more about like the technical aspects of like he'll compare different 4K Blu-ray players compared to this, or like the restoration on this and that, and he did a whole episode on Terrifier and how he like really prefers to watch Terrifier on VHS versus like versus
great.
the 4K Blu-ray.
I can totally get that. I bet the effects look better too.
Yeah, I missed the pretzel kill.
Yeah, I've been sitting watching it just like a fucking freak this whole time. No, but I guess Terrifier is a good example of like a kind of exploration of the genre to like try to change. But really, Terrifier does follow the tradition of having boring as fuck like normal characters.
Yeah.
But it's just like the big twist with Terrifier is that he's funny. Mm-hmm. And so like his scenes are half comedy, like cartoon scenes, and B, the gore is as extreme as it can get.
Yeah,
you guys talk about Terrifier on a different.
Yeah, well, I want to have you on the Terrifier episodes, but we haven't finished. We watched 1, and then Courtney fell asleep halfway through 2.
Oh, okay.
So we watched half of 2. I normally, under normal circumstances, I would have finished it by myself, but I was actually watching a different movie, Blue is the Warmest Color. I would not recommend it. That I went back and finished earlier. I'm just watching movies all the time, folks.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That's what he does.
That's my that is my passive mode. Like I'm chilling. I'm watching a movie.
Yep.
I got them on all the time. But anyway.
But yeah,
we were talking about
I'll save my Terrifier talk for
for that one.
Yeah.
But back to we're talking about Friday the 13th. The dumb teens are renting the cabin from this family. The middle of this movie is, just a real slog of like watching these teens.
Yes.
Most of them, there aren't really a whole lot of kills in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, Jason will pop up like just real quick and just nab someone.
Yeah, just to remind you what kind of movie it is.
Yeah, that he's
but mostly it's just a bunch of like weird sex politics with teenagers, and they're like just horny for each other the whole time, and that's really it. And like the only entertaining part in the is Crispin Glover's weird ass performance. For me. Just his every strange decision that actor makes. I wish he was in more things. Like, has he ever been in a David Lynch movie? Because that would be perfect.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think the only 3 things I know him from are this, Back to the Future, and Hot Tub Time Machine.
Damn.
Or isn't he in the Charlie's Angels movies too? I think
maybe. I think so. He's just a weird guy, and his casting always reflects that too.
Crispin Glover as Jimmy Mortimer. Yeah, Charlie's Angels was right. He played Andy Warhol in the Doors movie. Oh, I gotta rewatch
Cool.
That makes sense. He's someone
good for him.
Yeah.
But no, he's fucking real weird in this. His whole they keep calling him a dead fuck, and his that's like a whole running joke is he calls himself a dead fuck, and he gets upset when his friend calls him a dead fuck.
Yeah.
Does that have like a payoff?
All that it really is.
How does he die?
Crispin Glover?
Yeah.
How does he get killed?
He gets a machete to the face after he gets laid.
Yeah.
And then
as soon as he has sex,
he cries for the corkscrew, and Jason shoves a corkscrew through his hand.
Yeah,
and then hacks him in the face.
Exactly. Yes, because as soon as you have sex in this movie, or you're trying to have sex, you're fucking dead.
Yep. That's the rules.
There's 2 water kills in this movie. Like the second one, which I like the concept of more. Well, like when the girl is like in the raft, like in the boat in the middle of the water.
Yeah.
and,
She gets stabbed up through her stomach.
Yeah, stabbed up through the raft, and then Jason like drags her under.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But yeah, no, like yeah, in my memory, like there's a lot more. It's a lot of quick cuts away from. Maybe it's because I'm just so desensitized because of Terrifier.
Yeah.
And just used to seeing like
Yeah,
everything.
Terrifier is a desensitizing fucking franchise.
Yeah.
Because you see that, and then you're like, well, everything, like, I
Yeah.
guess this is as far as it goes.
But you know, another thing you have to factor in is the fact that yeah, these films are older, and like just in general, people like we've gone so much farther in terms of violence and spectacle that like you know it. Like I think it is a lot of it is just the fact of like the age of the films.
Yeah.
But you know, like Jason's making his way through, and then it doesn't. It really it ramps up in like literally the last 15 minutes or so. Once like Jason gets into the guest house and he's really mauling through all the teens.
Yeah.
My favorite kill in this movie, or just like an effective like quick thing for me, is like the dude he kills in the shower. He like pushes his face up against the tile
Yeah.
of the shower, and he like crunches his face in.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing when I saw that the first time, and I really just like felt it
Yeah.
in my jaw. Like he just
Yeah,
smashes.
the effects
him.
are good in this movie.
Yeah, no, they're yeah.
A lot of them are served by as soon as the effect is on screen, it cuts away like a quarter of a second later.
Yeah.
You get like 12 frames of that effect.
Yeah.
So you don't get to actually look at it for very long.
It's shocking in terms of how quick. That's the thing with like Jason doesn't savor his kills really at all.
No.
Like he's pretty quick to like once he comes across you, he'll snap your neck or like
Yeah.
crush your head.
He's I love how just dumb he is.
Yeah.
Like he's not clever in any
No.
like Art the Clown is like
Yeah.
he like thinks it through and like but like Jason's literally just like I'm gonna drop a big rock on your head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slice you in the face with my knife.
Yeah,
I'm
Jason.
gonna shove your face in a wall.
It's
He's
just-
like
he's-
a big dumb guy.
He's just a big meathead, and after rewatching Freddy vs. Jason with that mindset, it really makes sense to me. They are a good matchup against each other. They are kind of like very opposing.
Yeah, they're exact opposites.
They're very opposing forces. But last thing
Bugs
on
Bunny versus Elmer Fudd.
yeah. But last thing on Friday the 13th, yeah, there's some pretty good. There, I think
like when he threw that guy through the window. I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty funny.
he loves throwing people through the window. He throws 2 women through the window in this movie. One girl lands on a car.
He's so strong.
Yeah, he's a big, strong boy. I love whenever he just like comes through doors or comes through the. Oh yeah, he does when he throws the big buff dude through the window.
Yep. Big fan.
Yeah, no, it's just he's definitely the strongest slasher.
Yep.
He'd be my main in the slasher fighting game for sure.
Definitely. It's Mortal Kombat, dude.
He's the tank. Yeah.
You got like all the horror greats in Mortal Kombat.
I mean that's
Yeah.
pretty much what is it? Jason, he's in Mortal Kombat X.
yeah.
He's the guest character with Leatherface.
Yeah.
And
I think
And Alien and Predator.
I think Freddy's in one of those too.
Freddy is in Mortal Kombat 9, which you can't really. It's one of the. It was the PS3 era.
Yeah.
They never like did like a re-release or whatever of it.
So like there
hard to
isn't one
play.
game that has like Alien, Predator,
Yeah,
Freddy, Jason, fucking Michael.
Michael's. I don't think Michael has been has been in any of
Why
them
don't
yet.
they just make a game where it's just that?
Yeah, no,
Where it's just every slasher. You have a full roster I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Ghostface, Freddy. Yeah, no, fucking. Yeah, if you bring in people like Alien, Johnny for sure.
Johnny,
Johnny might be like a skin.
Art the Clown, fucking and they'd all have different movesets.
Yeah, I think the main reason that would be
Michael.
tough is just because all these guys are owned by different.
Alien, Predator, whatever.
They're owned by.
They could do it. Someone
Yeah.
could. Warner Brothers. Fuck it.
Figure it out. We'll see. Alien and Predator are owned by Fox, aka owned by Disney.
Leatherface.
Owned by Disney. I don't know who owns Texas
The
Chainsaw.
fucking Gremlins could be a character.
Michael Myers is Paramount. I don't know. Hanging out with in Star Trek lands. I don't know who owns Freddy or.
That just needs to be a game. We basically already have it with Mortal Kombat. Just have Warner Brothers just pull the trigger.
Exactly, for the most
Get
part.
'em
just
all.
Get them all in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would sell like hotcakes for sure. But there's a fan game out there.
I'm sure.
Um,
Mods.
yeah, but yeah, no, Friday the 13th Part 4. Yeah, last thing I want to say, I like Jason's face design in this one.
Yeah.
He looks like really creepy and crazy, and like his
The Corey Feldman solution to
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
at the end is fucking strange and
It's
doesn't
fucking
really.
crazy.
It kind of comes out of nowhere. It just feels like coke.
yeah.
Like
No, it is.
his idea is, I know what I'll do. I'm good at making masks. Let me do something that isn't related to
I
masks.
completely
and
forgot about his mask.
Yeah, let me-
He has like a whole workshop of like these
Yeah.
crazy masks.
but I'm not gonna actually wear a mask. So the whole mask
Yeah.
thing is actually unrelated to what I'm gonna do.
I
What I'm gonna
forgot-
do is put on makeup to make myself look like Smeagol, and then Jason can look at me and think, "Is that a young version of me?" and get confused for a while.
Yeah.
And
then,
he comes out looking like Smeagol.
yeah, and then Tommy gets a hit on Jason and like is fucking killing
Yeah.
him violently, implying that
Really
the
strange choice.
yeah, and then the last shot of this movie, Tommy is hugging his sister. Well,
He's
with
got a big grimace on his face or something. I
yeah,
don't
he's got
remember.
like the look of the evil.
I'm a
in
killer
him.
now.
And yeah, no, the next two movies do in fact deal with Tommy's
That's lame.
and it what's lame about it?
Have just be Jason. Who cares? Jason's got rules, man. Specific moveset.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, it doesn't go anywhere interesting. But yeah, that's part 4. I think, yeah, it's worth taking a look at. Let's talk about Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay.
This part of the movie we
Alien versus Predator versus Freddy versus Jason versus
Alien-
Batman versus Superman versus Godzilla versus Kong versus Alien versus Predator.
every crossover. Boy, oh boy, whatever. What I want to know what time of year Freddy vs. Jason came out. It came
That's got to be
late summer.
January.
Late summer, August 15th,
Damn.
2003.
Felt like a January movie. I guess it's got a big enough pull.
This kind of makes sense. It kind of has a big like last blowout of the summer, like that
Yeah.
makes as far as August 15th. All the kids when they come back to school,
It's
like,
almost
yo,
fall. Yeah.
did you see Freddy vs. Jason, dude? It was
Yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
You know, like seeing all their friends.
It's
They
a
have-
late summer movie.
yeah, for sure. But
Movie
yeah,
knows what it is from minute one.
yeah, it does not waste any time with.
So he's like, this is not a fucking RC fart. Listen, we know why you're here. There's tits in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, like when we introduce, because we get a quick little reintroduction. For the movie opens with a quick little reintroduction of Freddy.
We get a couple good kills, scenes of kills.
Yeah, we get some little
from both of them.
from both of their movies. We see Freddy without the burns for a minute when he just looks like a creepy man.
Yep, he's just the actor.
Yeah, he's actor Robert Englund.
He licks a picture of a little girl.
Who yeah, it's really creepy. I'm excited to listen to. I didn't know that my DVD has a commentary from Robert Englund.
That's cool.
Freddie himself, which I'm excited to listen to. But fucking yeah, a little reintroduction from him telling you he is. Then we get a little reintroduction of Jason.
Yep.
Jason is. It seems like Jason's dead, and he's having like a little bit of a
Yeah, he's like in hell, like, but he's doing like the cyclical.
cyclical like murder thing.
So he's kind of in heaven. I was just
He is.
thinking that, like, he's doing what he loves
yeah,
for the end till the end of time, like, and he's
Yeah.
having a great time.
yeah, he's just like killing these teens. That's the proverbial.
Or is he dreaming? Is that because
he is Jason.
Freddy?
Jason is in the ground at this point. Like,
Yeah,
he is
he's dead. But is Freddy just in hell?
Yeah, I think they're.
Freddy is implied to just be a demon at this point.
I think they are both in hell, and what Freddy is doing is Freddy is awakening Jason's physical form,
Okay.
like bringing Jason's body
None
back.
of it is really explained
Yeah.
that well.
Well, what?
It's my point of frustration with Friday 13th,
So-
as you can tell, is he's just how.
So the whole thing that Freddy wants in this movie is he wants Freddy. The more people are afraid of him, the more powerful he is. So he brings Jason back.
Yeah, but how
to-
did he bring Jason back?
Because
That's my point.
I think
It's not the why, it's the how.
I
that's
think
bothering
it's just
me.
that we're implied that like it's Jason is super Jason at this point, and he's easy to resurrect. I think is the
Sure.
I think is the thing. I think it
All
is-
you gotta do is convince him from
Yeah.
the afterlife. He's just
Exactly.
kind of chilling.
he's just kind of chilling. Usually he gets called back by something, but like this time it's like Freddy, like, hey Jason, wake up.
Yeah.
He wants Jason to go do some killing so that people think that Freddy Krueger's back, so that Freddy can get strong and do some killing. So
Yeah.
like he's Freddy. This movie starts with Freddy trying to use Jason for for his own means, but then it kind of turns into this thing where Jason is killing too many of these teens.
Yeah.
Freddy wants to, and it becomes kind of a battle between like hey,
yeah, he's like, what the fuck? You steal my kill.
you know, there's only one slasher movie's cast of kids.
And here, like,
Yeah.
he brought whatever.
Yeah, but basically
he brought him back to kill kids, and then he kills kids, and he's like, "Stop!
You're killing too many of my kids.
What did you?
God."
What was your goal?"
Yeah, I think it's just that like Freddy thought that Jason would be easier to control, but
okay.
that's not the case type deal. But yeah, no. So
Freddy versus Jason.
yeah, so that introduction is like the first 10 minutes. We get a player set, and then we get introduced to maybe the worst, least interesting cast.
Yeah. I
Of,
don't give a fuck about any of these people.
of stereotypes.
I honestly couldn't tell you a single character's name.
There's
and they honestly have all blended blended together for me.
There's Black Girl. There's Stoner Guy, who's my favorite.
He's just like a little minor side character, though. I don't even know his name. I don't think they ever say his name.
No, he's just Stoner Guy.
Yeah, he's just like at the party, and then they just kind of start hanging out.
There's the nerdy kid that has the crush on main girl, who kind of has a thing with the black girl.
Yeah,
kind of. And then it even gets more confusing in that there are two characters in this movie that are very central to the plot. That they're these two boys who are in this psychiatric hospital. And now, when I first saw this movie, I thought like, oh, did I like miss a movie? But no, it is just them.
Nope.
There was
there was a whole separate movie that you never saw.
Yeah,
Freddy just be doing this even between movies.
So basically, just as far as like from what I know, as far as like what happened before the events of this movie, and they don't communicate this well in a way. Main blonde girl in this movie, I forget her name. Her mom died a year prior.
Yeah.
And the main
you're remembering way more about this plot than I do.
I've seen this movie at least 3 times. main boy who's in the psychiatric hospital, the one the dark hair Jason Ritter's character, was blamed for the murder.
Sure.
Because he was seen leaving the house. And Freddy Krueger is the one that killed her mom. Because her house is the same house is Nancy's house.
Yeah.
From Nightmare on Elm Street, which Freddy says in this movie, I like killing the women that live in this house. So
it's just my thing. I don't know.
Freddy Krueger killed her mom, and ever since then, her dad, which this is like a mystery that's supposed to be slowly revealed in the movie, but it's like the information is delivered really poorly.
Yeah.
Like even beyond like the fact that this is a stupid movie, like they are trying to introduce this complicated sci-fi ass plot in the quickest, dumbest way.
What's the medicine called?
Hypnosil, I think it's called.
Hypnosil.
Yeah. They're giving the dream suppressing drug Hypnosil.
It's weird. The Freddy Krueger it's really just kind of a Freddy movie. Freddy is the antagonist of this movie.
Yeah, he's the total antagonist, and then Jason is like kind of caught in the middle.
Yeah, he's just also here.
Yeah, where he is one of the kids that Freddy is trying to abuse.
Yeah, and the kids use Jason to fight Freddy.
Exactly.
So Freddy's the real antagonist, because it kind of is like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
So Superman would actually win. But
Yeah.
We want to see a fight.
Exactly. We want to see him throw hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, the woman who died, the main character, her dad is a scientist who is working on the drug Hypnosil.
Yeah.
In an attempt to basically like stop Freddy Krueger from being able to kill. So like it does turn into like this sci-fi story where they're treating Freddy Krueger like a literal disease.
Yeah.
And there's like some magic potion they're trying to, and there's a lot of crazy imagery. Like, and this is like, we're kind of skipping around, but like we don't know any of this shit in the first third of this movie. We're just introduced to these dumb teens getting permanent. Like the first third of this movie is a hyper condensed, really boring Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion. Or I mean, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I'm not a big fan of these dream sequences with Freddy.
In the whole movie, or just this like first part?
Kind of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They just don't grab me. Maybe I think that's just personal preference, though. Do you think they're good?
Well, I think that for me, this movie gets more fun at about the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Like once we.
Well, yeah, it does.
Once we.
That's just to show you how boring the first half is.
Yeah. Well, it's because like the first half, like Jason and Freddy are happening in the background while the teens are doing boring teen stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like halfway through, yeah, it's stupid, but at least the focus of what the characters are doing is all focused on Jason and Freddy.
Yeah.
Halfway through, and it becomes like they're at the hospital trying to get the Hypnosil so that Freddy can't get them, and then Jason and Freddy show up, and we have that. Basically like the middle of the movie is kind of the true. The middle of the movie becomes more of a Jason movie. So the first third is like more Freddy focused,
Yeah.
and then the middle of it.
They
When
get equal screen time, like Vin Diesel and The Rock.
exactly, yeah, contractually speaking.
Yeah.
The middle of the movie is a lot of like Jason is knocked out through a lot of the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
Where him and Freddy are fighting in Dream World. And I will say this, I like this middle section where we're kind of going through Jason's mind more than the earlier things where Freddy's trying to attack the teens.
Yeah.
Because like we're going to this like I like the flashback sequence at Camp Crystal Lake with the old-fashioned cars, and like everything's kind of exaggerated, and Freddy's dressed like one of the camp counselors.
Yeah.
You know, like I like all the dream sequences with Jason in the middle. But all the earlier stuff with the teens is really lackluster compared to other stuff we've gotten before.
I'm really not a big fan of like Freddy's dream realm in that pipe room. I think that shit's boring as hell.
In his boiler room.
I think it's way cooler to like go into like he's going into Jason's dream, and it's like he's at camp, but like where this is probably where he would be.
Yeah, that's true.
But like just like he's in the pipe realm because this is the scary place.
Yeah, the boiler where he would kill kids.
So, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Then don't watch any of the rest of them because
really.
I mean, well, just like
It's always the pipe realm.
He always comes back to the pipe realm. The pipe realm.
Boring.
The pipe realm is Freddy's home. He does go into other people's psyche and goes to other places, but like he always brings them back into his world, which is the pipe realm.
Yeah, I think that's dull.
It's not a cool layer.
It's a dream that kind of fucks with the whole premise because it's like if this is like what's cool about dreams is like partially just like the interesting places they can take place, you know. I don't know, just having them all be in one place for budgetary or creative reasons is lame. Like you could just go to like a parking garage or something, it'd be more interesting.
Yeah. Fucking sorry, I'm having a brain fart.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the first third of this movie with the teens. The second part where we're in the hospitals when things, at least for me, get. I really like one of the other reasons why Stoner guy is my favorite because he gets possessed by Freddy halfway through this movie. He gets possessed by this CGI Freddy worm creation.
Yeah,
that
looks horrible.
It looks horrible.
It looks like a character from A Bug's Life got into this movie.
Yeah, no, really crazy looking. And Stone guy is possessed by Freddy, and he has a little standoff with Jason where he hits him with a bunch of tranquilizer.
Yeah.
We get them fighting in the dream world. And we go into just kind of mention, I like this section of the movie. And then the last and this movie's short. It is 90 minutes long. The last third.
Yeah, it is very short.
The last third of this movie is them trying to get Jason to Camp Crystal Lake because he's strongest there.
Yep.
And then Freddy gets pulled into the real world.
He's strongest there. How the fuck does that work?
What do you mean?
Jason's strongest at Camp Crystal Lake.
Because it's where he died or whatever.
Is he a ghost? I thought he was just a guy that keeps coming back to life.
He is a guy, but there's still supernatural force. I just realized we didn't talk about the cornfield scene. That's what kicks off the second act.
Well, yeah.
Jason shows.
He twists the guy's head around. It looks really weird.
Yeah, and then he had the smart decision to throw in. He has a whole bottle of Everclear.
He just throws. Yeah, he has a pitcher of Everclear.
A pitcher
for some
of Everclear.
Reason. They took it out of the bottle and they poured it into a pitcher.
Yeah, and we get a pretty cool. So I don't know. The fucking 12-year-old in me just Jason is on fire in this
He's
cornfield,
just walking and metal music's playing.
and he's just slicing through teens.
Yeah, he's a badass.
Throwing them and fucking twisting them.
He's a monster.
He just doesn't stop. And I don't know, just real just satisfying. Just if 12-year-old in me just fucking loves it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, the last third of this movie is pretty much Jason and Freddy fucking up Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, well, Freddy takes Jason into his pipe realm and he smashes him around like Bugs Bunny. And it's kind of boring to me.
Literally pinball sounds. That's not as...
I don't know what I'm supposed to be getting out of that scene.
It's not as fun as when they pull Freddy into the real world.
Yeah.
Because we, at least in some part, have to kind of deal with, like, real world physics, quote
Yeah.
unquote. Physics and...
Because, like,
many
Freddy's still
quotations.
scary because he's got the claw glove thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, he could still, like, cut you up and shit. But, like... He is honestly, the movie treats him as the antagonist.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when he's brought into, like, the real world, he's the one, like, winning the fight most of the time.
The teens' plan for the second half of this movie is for, like, they want Jason to kill Freddy in the real world. And when they never...
Freddy's the bigger threat.
Yeah, Freddy's the bigger threat. Freddy's the more intelligent threat.
Yeah.
Like, Jason just kills whatever's in front of him, whereas, like, Freddy has specific...
Yeah, you can get away from Jason.
Exactly. You just got to run from Jason.
Freddy will follow you like an STD.
Yeah, Freddy is much closer to, like, the It Follows
yeah, exactly.
demon in that sense. But yeah, no, the last third of this movie, we get a couple... I really like the part... This is just me going... I like the part where Jason... holds him through the window and is just like dragging him through the whole side, like tearing down this whole side of this building.
Basically the Hulk. Like, he'll hit you and you'll fly back 30 feet.
Yeah, no, like many teens get just like
I don't know why he's so strong.
Slammed against trees. Yeah, he's a big buff boy. And yeah, no, there's a final confrontation at the lake. Everything's on. They cover the the fucked up part where the black girl is who is only here to just like say black things is like shit.
She roasts him at the end, and we're supposed to think it's really funny.
She roasts Freddy, and then Freddy
he calls her dark meat.
He calls her dark meat, and it's just like
and then she calls him the F slur.
Yeah. No, really not aging well, not funny. They're like, how do we get black people to come and enjoy our movie? How do we get that demographic?
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's crazy ending. But Jason and Freddy hack off some of each other's limbs. It gets pretty damn visceral as far as like they're really cutting into each other. Like it's a proper like I think that this last third for me fulfills on the Freddy vs. Jason thing where it's like it's a big battle all over camp.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns into like a real fucking like wrestling match, like you said.
Yeah, no.
Like there's no longer
SmackDown.
It's no longer scary. There's nothing scary about it. That's the irony is we've gone from these are the pretenses that these are horror characters, but now they're just like
fighting game
yeah,
characters.
now they're just fighting.
Yeah.
It's really the horror has left the building. Mm-hmm. And then Jason wins.
Yeah.
We both have agreed that Jason wins, even though they both live at the end, which is kind of lame.
Freddy is ahead, but he's like he winks at the
which seems like
the camera.
It seems like a decision they made later.
Yeah,
because it looks really strange.
Yeah,
his face is like weirdly long.
Mm-hmm.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, but no, that's Freddy versus Jason, and I think definitely like it's like. Just as far as like looking back, like for historical reasons, you can check out the other ones as far as like seeing the kind of heyday of horror. Whereas I think this one I think is the more fun. Like you can just this one is the one that you put on the Halloween party when everyone's like fucked up.
Yeah,
and like you need something to laugh at. Like it moves faster.
Yeah,
it's got kind of crazier kills just for the fact of like it
has
came out
both, and it's also the 2000s. Yeah,
yeah. It's more the party thing, whereas like the older films are something that you can actually like look into as movies a bit and like see kind of the innovation and like the history of it.
This is trash. This is a good double feature with Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, it would be actually. Yeah,
they're the same exact vibe.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely just in terms of like all these versus movies get. My thing is, do you think that they could ever do like a versus movie but serious? Like,
yeah,
because in my head
they won't, but they could. It'd be cool, but they won't because honestly, you have two studios intervening constantly, so you end up with just Hollywood slop.
I think I could have faith in like we talked about it before, but like Fede Alvarez, director of
Yeah.
Alien Romulus, has said that he would like be very interested in making an Alien vs Predator in
They
collaboration
do it really well.
with the director of Prey, which like as far as like we
It's
talk
because
about,
they're so focused on fan service and lowest common denominator. Usually,
yeah,
they're just products intended to make their money back.
yeah. So it's like they're gonna play it as safe as possible.
Exactly.
But like, which I don't know. That makes sense as far as like, hopefully the follow-ups too, because there are 2 more Predator movies coming. I forget what they're called. One of the new Predator movies coming is from the director of Prey, and the other one is I forget who it's by. And then a sequel to Romulus is coming, which we'll see how those come out. But I don't know if anybody can do it. It's those guys for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So pick what's your. I feel like Friday the 13th.
I will choose one prop for the whole 3.
Okay, what's your one prop?
I want Freddy's noodle arms. I want to like hang them on my walls.
Yeah, it's a good one. Freddy's noodle arm is a good one. Like I said, I want the tongue phone from Freddy 1.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I want it so that like when it's on speaker, the tongue moves.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a shot where Freddy is talking, the character's talking on the phone, and Freddy's mouth becomes like the receiver on the phone,
Yeah.
and it licks their their mouth or whatever.
Yeah, it licks Nancy's
It's
face.
animatronic, and it looks kind of funny.
Yeah, it's real crazy looking. I want that. And then from Freddy vs. Jason, like I want a bottle of Hypnosil.
Yeah, Tic Tacs.
That's just Tic Tacs.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Probably dangerous in terms of like someone thinks it's like, or if somebody could put actual drugs in it.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, no, don't worry, it's just mints. But yeah, that's these movies.
Yep.
As far as like, yeah, I don't know, it's fun to like, something to be said about like, yeah, like all of these slashers and how there are so many each franchise, they're all the one I'm kind of been most going through, like I'm still kind of in the early stages of getting through, is the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
And those have an even crazier timeline in terms of like,
Oh my god! Doesn't the second one has nothing to do with being a slasher?
there are 3 completely separate Halloween timelines
Yeah.
where, in multiple of which
Ugh.
they're like Jamie Lee Curtis, like Laurie Strode, the character of Laurie Strode is in all 3 timelines and has different children
All 3
3
to me,
timelines that aren't connected.
It just feels like the whole series should just be nuked. Honestly,
And it's just
it's too fucked over.
it's a result of like the character of Michael Myers has been bought and traded amongst
Yeah.
multiple different studios that have their own ideas
Yeah,
of what they want to get out of it.
They need to just nuke it like Disney did with fucking all the canon, all
Yeah,
the Star Wars canon.
yeah, we'll
Just
see.
say none of that shit matters.
Yeah, we'll see.
New Halloween,
We'll see what they
Ari Aster Halloween. That's what I want.
Ari Aster Halloween. Like I said, I think I really want Ari Aster to do just in terms of like, I think he could do the dream imagery really cool.
Safdie Brothers Halloween. That's what I want.
Safdie Halloween would be cool.
That'd be fucking scary.
I think that is the direction you would have to take, like making it
Shot
like,
guerrilla style, but it's in like a small town.
yeah, exactly, really uncomfortable, like kind of like, yeah, no, that's a good call. Actually, you know,
See him in the background of some shots or something.
yeah, you could even do it from like. Actually, I feel like Safdie's would do a better like new age Scream. And because Scream, like, I don't know if you know it's like it's a whodunit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
As far as like, but my whole thing of like seeing a Scream movie where you know a Scream movie where you know who the killer is the whole time, I feel like the Safdies could do, because they're like all of the main
Yeah.
characters in their movies are like super not good people.
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
slightest. So I feel like if they could do anything, they could do like a new age Scream.
I'd see Robert Pattinson in a Scream remake with
That'd be
from the Safdies.
incredible. Or Pattinson, Billy Loomis. Yeah, no, yeah, that's Freddy vs. Jason.
Yep.
That's it. I don't know what we're gonna talk
Freddy
about.
and Jason.
I don't know what we're gonna talk about next time. Maybe Attack the Block.
Yeah, we got
Talk about-
movies.
or-
We
yeah.
got movies.
We got movies. There isn't a whole lot of good shit coming out lately. The
I'm
Revenge of the,
excited for Ash.
I'm excited for the Revenge of the Sith re-release.
Ash had a good trailer that made me really want to see it.
Is Ash coming out in
It's coming out very soon.
theaters, or is it coming
Yeah.
out science fiction horror film?
It looks really cool visually. It made me think of Control, if any of you have played that game.
Eco Wise.
It has a very interesting look. I don't know if it's good, but it looks cool.
I'm looking at the director, Flying Lotus. It's a DJ.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, he had.
It's good. It's gonna be a vibe movie either way. I can tell you that much.
For sure. It comes out. Comes out
very soon.
Came out this weekend.
Damn, maybe I'll see it tomorrow.
So yeah, maybe that'll be the next thing we talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't. Here's the thing. My movie guys that I follow, I haven't heard any of them talking about Ash. So like, I gotta like
Oh man. I haven't heard anybody. I haven't heard a single person talk about it. I just saw the trailer.
Exactly. So we'll see.
It looks like a movie I could just zone out to, though.
Yeah, pair it with Mandy or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. This has been Midnight Movie Gang. It's currently 10:50 p.m. Night Movie Gang. Thank you, folks, so much for listening. You can go subscribe on YouTube at Midnight Movie Gang Podcast. Join our Patreon to listen to our commentary tracks for movies that have potential.
Yes.
Pretty soon on there we're gonna have, so I'm gonna make a highlight reel for Godzilla. We're doing a live event soon at the Needle Exchange, a live recording of our commentary track for Godzilla 1998 with a drinking game and a live crowd, and the full thing will be on Patreon, but I will make a highlight reel to put out for the world. So please check that out, be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be amazing.
Thank you so much again for listening, and have a nice night.
Goodbye.
With childish frustrations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Dave Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. Where's everybody that I'm here to go? Oh, please tell me where they've gone. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How long could I got in here? 3 tickets to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think? Special agent.